Strength is not never falling. Strength is rising every time you fall. Helena woke up every day carrying an invisible weight. The weight of continuing. The empty side of the bed was not just a space. It was a reminder. She didn't recognize herself anymore, but she knew she needed to keep going. Routine became her salvation and also her prison. Pedro didn't talk to her anymore. Not with words. At least, Livia saw everything and felt everything, but didn't know how to say it. The distance between them wasn't measured in meters. It was measured in silence. She used to have a family at the table. Now, she only had memories. At the hospital, she took care of everyone. At home, no one took care of her. The drive to work was the only moment of peace, or perhaps of escape. There, she was needed. There, she still had purpose. Dr. Alvaro saw what she was hiding. He recognized pain camouflaged as strength. Sometimes, a simple gesture is what keeps us whole. She wanted to vent, but the words seemed trapped inside her. He said, "You're carrying everything alone, but it doesn't have to be this way." Those words touched a place she had forgotten existed. On the way back, she thought about everything and about nothing. The house was quiet, too quiet. Pedro was there, but he wasn't present. She tried to reach him, but he had built walls. Livia was different. She still left the door open. In her daughter's eyes, Helena saw the child who needed her. She sat beside her, and for a moment, felt like a mother again. Livia asked if everything was okay. Helena lied with a smile. But alone in her room, she couldn't pretend anymore. She found a letter from a time when there were still promises. The promises were there, but the man who made them wasn't. She put away the letter and decided to put away the pain too. That night, she prayed, not for answers, but for strength to continue. And when the sun rose, she rose again, because that's what she did. She decided she wasn't just going to survive, she was going to rebuild. She greeted Pedro, and this time waited for him to respond. It was just good morning, but it was a beginning. Livia saw it, and for the first time in months, felt hope. At work, she continued caring, but now with renewed purpose. The lady held her hand and said, "You have a special light." Helena didn't feel special, but those words touched her deeply. Dr. Alvaro invited her to talk, and this time she accepted. They talked about life, about losses, about new beginnings. For the first time, she shared the weight she carried alone. He said, "Strength is not feeling pain, it's feeling it and still continuing." That resonated within her like a forgotten truth. She returned home, different, not healed, but more whole. Her children were there, and she decided she would fight for them. She sat between them, without asking permission, without fear of rejection. Pedro didn't leave, and Livia moved closer. It was all she needed. They didn't talk much, but they were together. And that was already a lot. On the weekend, she visited her mother, the woman who was always her rock. Irene hugged her, the way only a mother knows how to hug. They talked about faith, about loss, about remaining standing. Irene said, "My daughter, you are stronger than you imagine." Helena cried. But they were tears of relief, of acceptance. "Read this psalm whenever you feel weak," said Irene. Helena read, and felt a peace she hadn't felt in a long time. She took with her more than a book. She took renewed hope. The bills were still there, But now she faced them with courage. She made a plan. Small, but it was a plan. She talked to Pedro about helping at home, and he listened. He didn't like it, but he agreed, and that was already progress. Livia offered help without being asked. Helena hugged her with gratitude. They worked together, and for the first time, the house felt like a home. Helena cooked that night, not out of obligation, but with love. They sat at the table, everyone together. She prayed, and her children listened, not with words, but with their hearts. Conversation flowed slowly, but it flowed, and that was everything. Pedro laughed, and Helena felt that maybe, just maybe, they would make it. At night, she read again and found strength in the ancient words. She began to write her fears, her hopes, her journey. At work, she began to smile again, and people noticed. A colleague said, "You seem different." "Neither," Helena replied. "I'm learning to live again." Dr. Alvaro saw the transformation and rejoiced for her. Each patient she cared for reminded her why she chose this profession, and in that small gesture, she saw purpose. She saw meaning. She stopped to breathe, to feel the wind, to be alive. The drive home stopped being an escape. It became a return. She found Pedro helping Livia without anyone asking, and in that moment, she knew they were going to be okay. She joined them, and they crossed out mistakes together and learned together. She returned to saying goodnight with a kiss on the forehead. With true love, Pedro accepted, and that kiss was worth more than 1,000 words. Livia said, "I love you," and Helena replied, "I love you too, my dear." Alone again, she looked at the stars and gave thanks. She prayed, but this time not for strength, but in gratitude for the strength received. The days continued, some difficult, others light, but all lived. She paid an overdue bill. Small victory, but it was hers. Pedro improved his grades and shared it with her, and she cried with pride. Livia drew the family all together, all happy, and Helena saw hope. She put the drawing on the fridge and decided that would be the goal. She called her mother, and they laughed like they hadn't in a long time. Dr. Alvaro said, "You are an example," and Helena finally believed it. She arranged the old photos, not to forget, but to move forward. She put away the past and chose to live the present. She looked at herself in the mirror and finally recognized herself. Stronger, more whole. They went out together for a simple walk, but meaningful. They talked about everything and about nothing, and that was enough. Helena watched her children and felt she had won, not the war, but the daily battles. She remained standing, not because it was easy, but because she chose to be strong. And sometimes the greatest strength is in simply continuing, silently strong, still standing.